setting up this today was especially fucking irritable for some reason. This shit was so... Yeah, it was especially irritating. Setting up today's podcast setup, it was ridiculous. I've never had that hard of a time setting up the equipment for this show. The stupid ass camera was not in frame. I mean, the camera framing was ridiculously difficult to get set up. Can you pass me my my tea and my water?
I'm just passing you your tea right now.
All right. Well, let me tell you guys, COVID, since the last episode also featured my sister, and since the last episode, nothing has changed. Actually, no.
That was a week ago, right? A little more than a week ago.
That was Thursday. No, that was Friday, Christmas Eve. That was Friday.
A week ago, yeah.
A week and 2 days ago.
Because it's now Sunday, January 2nd, 2022. Yep. So it's 2/2/2022.
And
2022.
Let me tell you, this shit right here today, like the only difference from last episode to this episode is the fact that we both tested positive for COVID. We officially have it. Omicron.
I don't want to talk about it.
Completely fucked up both our Christmas and our New Year's, but what can you do? At least we're happy and
again,
at least we're healthy.
Shout out Sonia. It's her 21st birthday today. Like, I was supposed to go and celebrate with her and like a bunch of our mutual friends, but to be safe, my quarantine doesn't end until Tuesday. So
the CDC's guidelines on what's happening with like quarantining is ridiculous. I don't know what it's like. 5 days. First of all, in the beginning when this whole thing started, it was you have to quarantine and self-isolate for 14 days, 2 weeks of your life. Just disappears.
If you were exposed, 14 days.
And then now it's 5 days if you don't have symptoms. I don't know what the
if you're asymptomatic, if you've been exposed, well, I think the guidelines are kind of the same for both, except if after 5 days you still test negative from the last time you were exposed to COVID. You could just go read a bit about it on the CDC website, but basically it's like, since we tested positive, the first 5 days are the most contagious now, is what they said after some research. So you only have to isolate for 5 days, and then 5 more days of just like wearing masks around people if they're especially vulnerable or stuff like that.
I don't think they want to hear. I don't think anybody here who's listening to this, the few people that are listening to this or watching this, I don't think they want to hear about COVID anymore.
Yeah, no. I'm done.
Because this shit
is
just like, it's enough.
It actually took up half and a little more than my whole winter break. Because I go back to, a week from today, I'll be back at school.
Allegedly. I don't think you're going to go back to school.
As of right now, I am.
Symptom-wise, today is probably up there with some of the worst days. I've been like so congested and like feeling like shit for the whole day, which is interesting because I got diagnosed. I tested positive on Wednesday, so it's been 5 days.
He tested positive on Thursday.
Friday. Well, Wednesday's when I didn't test on Wednesday, but that's when I started feeling sick. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So today's the 5th day, and today's the worst day, which is weird. You would think that, I mean, didn't they say it's like the 3rd day?
For me, it was like Sunday, Monday. But then Monday I tested negative, so I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, I got out of it. But then Tuesday was my worst day when I woke up, and I was like, oh, shit.
Just OD congestion. And I did the neti pod.
Like, it was just real. Like, I just felt really sick. Like, couldn't move, whatever. I don't want to talk about that anymore because it's...
I did the neti pod, and the neti pod was fucking interesting.
The neti pot changes your life.
The neti pod was, it feels like you're drowning. Or
neti pot.
Neti pot. What did I say?
You kept saying neti pod.
Yep. I keep saying neti pod. The neti pot makes you feel like if you go upside down underwater with your nose, like when water flushes it. But the weird thing is, like, I would turn and water would be going in, but for some reason water would not be coming out. So I'm like, where is this going? And then I felt like it going down the back of my throat. And apparently I swallowed some of it and I felt so nauseous this morning.
You have to like
the
close your throat. Like you have to go like, you know what I mean?
I don't know what that means. I have never done neti pots before. Oh. Like never used one before today. Maybe I did it like once, but.
So did your ears pop?
My right ear got fucked up. Like I would blow my nose afterwards and it would just, I felt my eardrum going like this. Wah, 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 wah. Like it would literally just be popping like as if I was going up and down on an airplane.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't know why. That's something to do with internal pressures. God, human beings like
ear,
senses
nose, and throat.
So ridiculous. The one thing that I will say is that out of this whole thing, right? Obviously, if I could have gone without getting it, I would have. But the thing I'm worried about the most is losing my sense. I had a really good sense of smell, as was covered on the last episode, with our little debate that we had on the last episode. But both you and I have a really good sense of smell.
Yeah.
And
they've been a little diminished.
Mine has been diminished.
A little dampened.
I can't smell things
sure.
like, just like, I won't walk by something and be like, oh, like I smell that. I'll have to go up to it and like, with the intent of trying to get the scent of whatever it is in order to smell it. Like this tea is peach tea, right? Like right there, I can't really smell much. Can you smell that? Mm-hmm. I can't smell that.
It'll come back hopefully.
If it doesn't come
currently
back,
taking some medicine right now.
No, if it doesn't come back, like I'll be fucking like I'll be very, very upset. Like very upset. Like that's something that like that will be not to be dramatic, but like that will be pretty life changing if my
not to be dramatic, but I wanna die.
If
these are large as pills, Jesus Christ.
If my sense of smell does not come back the way it was, I'm gonna be very upset. Like that'll be life changing for sure. Like not like life altering in terms of like the grand scheme of things, but it definitely would like, I don't know, shit would just not be as good.
Mm-hmm. Like we had the same language teacher in middle school. I'm not saying names.
That's a transition.
But she lost her sense of smell because of a car accident. So in turn, she can't really taste things either. Remember?
That's depressing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That woman was crazy too. I don't think she works at the school anymore, but she knew how to speak 5 languages.
Yeah, something like that. I loved her.
She could read and write Latin, speak fluently French, Italian, Spanish, and English. So 5 languages total that she could use and function with at a fluency, completely fluently. I see this COVID shit, bro. I can't be thinking straight. I can't communicate the way I normally should. Maybe it's not a good idea to record an episode today, but that's besides the point. It's now 2022. All right. The first question I wanted to ask you was,
2 days into 2022.
2 days into 2022. What are some of your goals for this year? I don't want to say New Year's resolutions because that's kind of cheap. I feel like no one ever actually does their New Year's resolutions. Wait, I just thought
about the fact that earlier I said it's 2/2/2022, but it's January, not February, so it's 1/2/2022.
Okay, just continue.
That's like when I was trying to say that type of fighting. That like I think it's Brazilian style of fighting, and I said capybara, and then I was like right away in my mind I knew that was the animal, but the rodent, and then I looked at him and he was like yeah capybara, and I was like no, that's the animal, you capoeira.
No, I said it was capoeira.
Oh shit. Oh
now it's because of your stupid ass.
What do you mean?
Now it sounds normal. Like completely immersed. Now it sounds completely immersed. It's because of your connection.
I had just accidentally
No, but it wasn't completely connected. That's why it kind of felt like half connected.
Well, that's awkward.
Well, you see? Yo, now I was wondering. I'm like, why does this shit sound off?
But some goals for this year?
All right, if you can't think of one.
I think one is definitely to try to narrow down my career path.
That would be a good idea, yeah.
Just because I was supposed to do some shadowing this break, but then literally COVID struck, and I was unable to do that. So hopefully when I go back to school, when I'm like back in state college, I'll figure some of that out. And then the usuals, you know, like trying to stay healthy, stay active. Because I don't know about you, but just being like feeling sick, your body feeling sick, and just kind of laying down really took a toll. Like I was just like, oh my god, like I don't know how people just lay around all day. It makes my body hurt.
I have the lower back of like a fucking like 80-year-old man. During this whole like quarantine shit, my lower back has been bugging the absolute fuck out. It's been hurting like OD. Like
I don't know how Dad is able to he's able to lay in a bed just all day.
Yeah, because Dad is
happily with our dog.
Oh my god, dude. Guys, this studio shit. No, this budget studio shit today is really not. It's really not it. It's everything's annoying. There's like wires out off fucking screen that I can't. It's so, I'm like so frustrated.
He's not doing great right now.
I'm not. Like the room is so, like literally, there's a desk right behind camera, right? The tripod that's holding the camera. There's a desk that's right up against the back of the tripod, then a wall, right? So I can't get behind the camera to see what the fuck's in frame. So we had to screen mirror using my Mac, and it was impossible to like fucking figure out. Like it was
this is why I told you to just do the Apple Watch thing, because on Apple
that's
Watches,
the same thing though.
You could literally just start it.
But
you
that's
could
the
start
same
and
thing.
monitor it.
That's
Jesus
the same
Christ,
thing. So this is not it.
Second time.
This is not it. I gotta get a studio, man. Once this can you guys? Okay, please. I apologize. Excuse the banter here. If you guys have made it this far, we're 11 minutes in. We're about like 10 minutes in, and we've
been
talked
COVID
about,
talk.
Yeah, we've talked about nothing.
Let's
move on. So you said you want to let me ask you something, because this is actually something that I've been meaning to ask you for a while, and this is gonna be interesting to talk about on record here. But what's your deal with like dating? Like, what's your deal with that?
What do you mean?
Like, you have not, like, you've never had a official boyfriend, right? And you're
I don't want to talk about this on record.
I want to talk about this on record.
I'm not talking about this on record.
Why don't you want to talk about this on record?
I don't know, because dating nowadays is just so complicated.
I'm not saying for you to go and like go crazy. I'm just saying, like, do you have commitment issues is what I'm asking.
I don't think so. I think maybe a little bit.
You don't think so? Maybe a little bit? That's contradictory.
I don't know. It's like I'll talk to people.
But
then I get tired of talking to people.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
Because then it's like with COVID, people are so less sociable.
You think so? I feel like that's
this
not...
is a specific example of like, there's this one guy. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the type of person to just meet up with a random dude one-on-one for the first time we're meeting, right? So I was like, oh, if we're ever having a party or like get together, you can come. But then he's like, no, why do you want to meet at a social setting first? And I'm like,
okay,
that's suspicious.
That is suspicious, but at the same time, most people do. When you like match on like a dating app, you just meet up with them like one-on-one, like a date.
Yeah, but then
But that's why you FaceTime them first beforehand to make sure they're not a stalker or like a crazy person.
Dude, he kept like he kept like blowing up my phone. Then I was like, oh my god. But then the same dude, I couldn't find where he got my Snapchat from, because I went back on like on Tinder and Hinge, and I was like, wait, he's not on any of these. And then I'm just swiping through Tinder because it's kind of just fun to swipe through. But I don't like swiping when I'm home because it's weird. Like you kind of see people, you know, sometimes, and you're like, ew. And then I see the same guy, but it had a different name, and I was like,
did you ever FaceTime that guy?
No.
So
I wasn't gonna give him my phone number. So
was he a good-looking guy?
It was on Snapchat. I messaged him like,
conventionally, was he a good-looking guy?
What does that mean?
Like by conventional standards, like traditional standards.
He was around average, maybe.
Because I'm thinking, like, if it was a really good-looking guy, then it was probably like one of those catfish situations.
No. And then I sent a screenshot, and I was like, bro, is this you? And then he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, so what's your name? And then he explained, it was like, he said his whole name, and then there was his old account he forgot, but that was using his first name, and then the second account that I saw was using his middle name, some shit. And I'm just like, this is really suspicious.
No, that's sus, because I'm pretty sure dating apps, if you haven't used your account in a while, like your profile,
it's still active.
It doesn't,
unless you delete it.
It doesn't, if you're not active on those things, then when you stop using, like when you delete the app, your profile still exists within the Tinder database, right? But because you deleted it, your activity on the oh my god, excuse me, that COVID, your activity on the profile does not register as high, so then you're not gonna show up on as many people's feeds. So why would he show up on your feed with the first one and then on a separate platform with the second one? That guy was lying. That guy was a sus fucking guy.
And then I was just like, okay.
I guess it is different for girls. Like I've always been like, I've been cautious. The few times I've gone out on Tinder dates, I mean, you know, I would always text her like a screenshot of the girl.
There's very few people I've known that actually go on Tinder dates like from my close circle, and you're one of them, and I was like, oh, okay. But at least you're being safe about it.
Well, I send you a screenshot of the girl's profile, Instagram handle, and like phone number if I have it, and then like all this contact information.
He would be like, don't look at her Instagram unless you don't hear from me or something like that.
Yeah.
And I literally wouldn't, and I kind of forget like
because like I don't want you to be like nosy, but I don't want mom and dad.
I only just recently started following Hannah on Instagram.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. But I'm saying like when I was like going on Tinder dates, right? When I wouldn't want you to be like following or looking up these people. Not that you would follow them, but I wouldn't want you to look them up because it's just like, oh, that's so weird. That's kind of cringy. So I definitely didn't want to tell mom and dad about it because they'd be asking questions. You know how they are.
So what would you even say?
So I would to who?
Mom and dad.
I would just be like, I'm going out on a date. They'd be like, with who? I'm like, don't worry about it. Someone I met online. And then like, if dad, specifically dad, if you were to be like, let me see a picture, I'm like, no, I'm good. Because he's overbearing with that. You know that. But anyways, I would send you the information because then what I would do is I would tell her, don't look at the profile or anything unless you don't hear back from me. Like,
unless you don't hear from me, call the police.
I actually would say that just in case, because there's some crazy fucking people
I would
out there.
just check in and like look at your location and be like, okay, he seems fine.
So you've never had a Tinder date mishap?
No. Because, okay, all the guys that I've matched with, it's been like, it's so in the middle. It'll be like
they're
either
mid?
It's mid in the sense that they only hit me up in the wee hours of the night / morning.
For a booty call.
Or it's like they're kind of creepy and are like, oh, let's like hang out, but like consistently asking to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, I don't know, we'll be talking and then it kind of just fades because I'm like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah, well, that's why
because I think I'm more of a in person.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So you have to. Okay, if I were to give you any advice, because realistically, in COVID times, the odds of you going out and meeting someone like organically or traditionally,
it's happened only a few times.
Then
one time I was too drunk to even realize the guy was talking to me.
No, it's not gonna happen because of COVID. Like everybody's scared of that stuff. So you kind of do have to. I would say right now is the time that you would have to lean on dating apps the most.
Yeah, with Omicron, with Olivero, this is like
it's
crazy.
Not going well.
And you can't even look at people in your class anymore unless it's on Zoom. Because everyone, mask fishing.
Oh, I got a bad story about
is
that.
Real.
I've said that.
Mask fishing is so real.
I've said this shit so many times. Like within like personal stories. Let me tell the story real quick because you just reminded me mask fishing.
Yeah.
You know
tell that
one.
Story. It's funny.
So. I've said this before on the episode that I had with Tom, but that was audio only. So now that there's people watching this, I'll just explain to you real quick. So one time I was out with Andy, Tom, and Andy's two cousins, right? And we're out in the Bronx eating at an Albanian restaurant because Andy's Albanian, so I wanted to try the food. So we go and we're like eating good food, chilling.
When
it's
was
a whole
this?
vibe. This was during COVID, obviously, because the mask thing was in play. I would say. Yeah. Probably like September, August of 2020. Yeah. September, September of 2020.
Oh my God.
Late summer, fall of 2020. Anyways, so we go to the city. We're in the Bronx, eating Albanian food, delicious food, great, fucking fantastic, like meats and shit like that. So then afterwards, we're like, let's go to this place called, I think it's like Luna Cafe. So we go to the Luna Cafe, it's like a little like dessert spot, right? After the nice Albanian meal that we just had. We sit down and immediately like everyone in the group that was in our group, when we sat at the table, we kind of all saw this like one waitress, right? Server. And she was walking around. She was wearing a crop top and yoga pants, right? Okay. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm going to sound very shallow in this story, because the whole thing is about mass fishing. So I'm going to preface this by saying I'm going to sound pretty shallow. All right.
And it's also just based off of.
But it's like for the sake of comedy.
This is just based off of like what you're attracted to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another good thing
everyone
to say.
Else.
Yeah. No, objectively. There's no objective. This is all subjective here. It's all up to subjective means like it's in.
Yeah. Subjective versus like aesthetic subjectivism versus aesthetic objectivism.
Sure. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so we're at the fucking cafe.
Shout out Colin
We're
Smith.
at the cafe. All of us, all the people in our group notice this one server because she has an amazing body. She's very fit. Not only is she fit, right? Meaning like very low body fat percentage, she also has and carries like the majority of her weight in the best places. Meaning her waist is really small, but her hips are wide, and her legs and ass are really like nice. They're like it's full, right? And so obviously like that, and it wasn't just me. It was like everyone in the group, like including we had a woman with us, and she noticed too.
Okay.
So it was like it's like known, like we were like, oh shit, like what the she must like do something like to keep that type of like physique, because it was a very noticeable physique. So then she turns around, because we saw her from the back at first, and then she turns around and immediately everyone notices that she's Asian. So of course, because I'm the only Asian in the group, there was like this weird moment where everyone kind of like looks at, and I was single at the time, obviously that also has to do with it, but like all the guys were like, oh, like that's like go get you some of that, because it's like you're in the, which is weird. Like if you think about it, that's fucking weird.
That's weird.
And it's like weirdly racial. No. But besides,
that's weird for us, because I also noticed this. It's like I feel like we're more accustomed. Since we grew up in a biracial household, our like love standard, whatever, like seeing couples, we grew up mainly around like an interracial couple. Those are our parents. So then when we see people that aren't an interracial couple, it's like, oh, like people actually, that is the standard for the world, the majority, but we're part of that minority. So that's why like your friend's point of view is like, oh, that's normal. That's normal. But for you, you're like, why was everyone? Yeah. So it's a little weird, but that's besides the point. So anyways, they were kind of like, oh, like, all right, so you basically get, this sounds so shallow, but like you get like first, not dibs, but like you go ahead and try to spit game. Or they were like encouraging me to try to talk to her or something, or flirt. Talk to the waitress. So we're sitting there, pull up on her. We sit down, right? And I'm like, oh fuck, like this girl like is a server, so like how am I gonna start conversation? It just so happens that you had already taken your mask off, right? Yeah. Because you're like, well, no. We're sitting down. Okay, so this is so funny. I had this. I'll get to all that. So we sit down. We're at the table. We're like, she's a server, or I'm thinking she's a server. How am I gonna get her attention? How am I gonna start this thing off? Well, it just so happened that luckily she ended up being the server for our table. So she goes around and she asked me first. She's like, what do you want to like order? And I'm thinking, I'm dressed to the nines, by the way. Like I have like a really nice outfit on. My hair is done, so I'm feeling relatively confident. And I was like, you know what? I don't know yet. Like, why don't you do like ask everybody else and then get to me later, because I'm indecisive right now. She's like, all right, fine. So she goes around and asks everybody, gets back to me. When she gets back to me, she asks me what's up, and then she's standing right here, like over me. So then and if Andy was here, he would be like, that was pretty smooth. Like I kind of like, and I didn't think about this. It just kind of organically like. My instinct was like, all right, I told her, I was like, well, come here. To see what your brain was thinking. Yeah, so I was like, all right, come here. So she comes down, not in a creepy way, not like, come here, but like, I was like get a little closer, right? So she comes a little closer. I'm like, well, look, I don't know, like, I think the exact thing I said was like, you look like you have really good taste, so I'm just going to trust your judgment and you recommend something for me off the menu, right? But the way I said it was, after I said, you look like you have really good taste, I paused and kind of looked at her as to insinuate or imply like you would have good taste if you were to like accept my advances, like my flirting, and if you were to respond with some flirting back. So she like giggles, and I'm like, oh, and then like I kind of like break eye contact with her for a second, look at the menu, and then like I peek up to look around at the table, and everyone's looking at me. They're like, that was good, all right, keep going, whatever. So I'm like, fuck, I'm nervous at this point, because I'm not like overtly a flirt. I've never flirted in front of my friends before, ever. That was like the first time. Rarely people that actually like flirt in front of their friends. No, like will like make a move in front of a group of people, like on one person. Yeah, in front of their friends, but also just like in a social setting. Yeah, like that. So that was like weird. With that dynamic, that was very weird to do when I did that, because I not that really that type of person. So then that happened,
And she leans down. She like, all right, this one. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take that. And then we order whatever. Come to the end of the night. Some other fucking server comes over. She gets like all this shit. Fine. Then we're leaving. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't get her number or anything because she didn't come back. And then I was like, you know what? Let me go back and order like another bullshit piece of cake. And then when I'm ordering that, I'll like ask for her and then see. And I'll just be like, hey, I think you're really cute. And I'll just be like very upfront about it. It worked. I got her number. Long story short, we began Snapchatting that night. Like text. This is the thing I thought was weird. So while we were talking, I had my mask on at first and I pulled it down and looked at her so she could get a clean look at my face, but she did not reciprocate because she's an employee. That's fine, whatever. And like, so that was me kind of showing her what I look like so that she could accept or reject my advances. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had that thought, but she didn't reciprocate. So I'm thinking, oh, it's probably just because she's an employee. She can't take it off because her boss will get mad. Whatever. Fine. Right? Then the red flag kind of came up a little bit. The red flag came up a little bit. Right? A red flag was raised when all of a sudden I Snapchat her a picture of my face. Right? And she doesn't reply with a picture. She replies with text. And I'm like...
Did you say something?
Yeah. Like it was like a question or some shit. And like... It was like with my face, and she responded with text, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. That's a red flag.
But then she continued to text and not send a selfie.
Yeah, and I responded with a picture of me with the response in the text within the Snapchat, and then she responded with just like swiping and texting instead of sending a selfie. So I'm like, this is fucking weird. Whatever. Long story short, we continue texting that night. Then she gives me I asked for her Instagram. I get her Instagram, she's private, and her profile picture is like mad zoomed out. And I'm like, fuck. Like, why is it so zoomed out? Like, this is kind of, it's giving me like it's making me uneasy.
Yeah, because you're like, oh shit, like I actually haven't really seen her
face. Like that is all the stuff that I've said, right? The most important thing physically is by far the face. Body changes over time, so does face, but like someone's face is what you're going to be looking at 90% of the time. So that is what I value to be the most important physical attribute, right? So obviously I haven't seen her fucking face yet. So I'm starting to think like, oh shit, like this is kind of bad. She accepts my follow request. I'm looking through her profile. I'm like, oh fuck, she's not it. Like, again,
you were not attracted to her
I was
face.
not attracted to her face.
You were probably also imagining like a different face.
100%. Because her mask, this is the thing, her mask was covering her entire bridge of her nose.
Your eyes.
Everything except for like eyeballs to like this is the only thing that I could see right here.
No, it's crazy how different people like
look
when you
with
see
a mask
someone
on.
You can imagine the rest of their face.
And you could be so wrong.
Yeah, like I'll be shook.
So wrong.
For example, this happened to me with like some of the coworkers I had in one of my internships. When I finally like saw them without the masks, I was like, oh, whoa, like whatever.
That is not what I expected you to look like.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
And that's what happened. That's what happened with me when I saw her Instagram profile. So I'm like, fuck. And I'm like consoling with my friends. I'm like, yo, I like screenshotted her like picture, and I'm like, yo, like what the fuck? Like, how do I get out of this situation? Because I don't want to be rude, but like I'm not attracted to her. And you know, this is kind of like, this is not a good situation to be in. And I'm not the type of guy to like, because I wasn't looking for a serious relationship, and I was just kind of having fun, right? And I did not feel right by just kind of hooking up with her for her body, but then not being attracted to her face. I feel like that's really fucked up. So you kind of did the I think I did the right thing.
Did you ghost?
Yeah. Kind of. No.
So what are your thoughts on ghosting?
Ghosting is kind of fucked up.
I have done that as well.
Ghosting is fucked up, and I have not. I've not ghosted more times than I have ghosted. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Like I have told people straight up, okay, I don't think we should continue seeing each other because like you know, it's just not gonna work out, or like, you know, whatever. I give an excuse like you're too far away. Right now it's not the right time. I'm busy. Blah blah. Whatever. Okay. Rather than just straight up ignoring messages, right? And with her, it was like a little bit of both. Like she would send something and I'd send a very bland, unseasoned fucking response, and then she'd be like, haha, and then I'd leave it on open. That happened for like 2 days. This whole thing was not drawn out. It was like 2 days after I'd gotten her information, it was already done with. Quick. It was quick because then it kind of ended, and I think it's because she's not the type of person to like be very bold. So then after I kind of gave her like 1 or 2 bland responses, she stopped answering, and then my birthday rolled around. So it was August, September, because then my birthday rolled around, which is in late September. She saw I posted something, swiped, and then said like happy birthday, and I said thanks, and left it at that. Okay. That was the last thing. So then I was like, all right, we're done, we're good, cool, and that was it. But her fucking face was so different from what I imagined. And again,
I feel just like that not could really to my leave you in a state of standards. Shock.
No, that's why, like,
in general,
that taught me a lesson. Like, I am not, I mean, not that I, like, am on the market, because it doesn't, I'm in a very happy, wonderful relationship, but, like, if I were to be, I would really carefully consider, like, what someone would look like with or without a mask. Like, if I've seen them without a mask.
So, to pose an interesting question.
Wait, actually, can I say another thing? Because that just reminded me. That lesson was so impactful to me that the first time I met Hannah, because I met her on Hinge, I actually, she got, like, we met up and she was wearing a mask. And so was I, because, like, we don't know if, like, we have COVID or not, whatever. So she gets in the car, and then we're, like, driving to go to, like, our first date location. And, like, as we're on the way to, like, wherever it was, I can't remember right now. I think it was, like, a restaurant or whatever. Like, we're driving, and then I'm thinking, like, oh. Like,
with your masks on?
Yeah. So I'm like, this is kind of weird that I have my mask on. So I was kind of like, I've been safe. I've been quarantining. Have you been? And she's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, do you mind if I take off my mask? And she's like, yeah. So I take off, or she said, no, I take off my mask. She saw my face, and I was so nervous to see what she looked like without the mask, even though I had already seen her profile picture and stuff like that. I didn't see someone her in person. Exactly.
Can be different.
So she ended up taking off her mask, and the only difference from her pictures versus like in real life is that she had braces. But I was like so relieved.
You're like,
I was
okay, like, I'm not being
thank God I'm not being catfished. She's fucking pretty. She had beautiful lips, whatever. So yeah, wasn't being mask fished, and I was just like, I was happy about that. But it was so funny because I was having PTSD, like right there in the car. I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm like as what she goes to take off the mask, I was like, yo, what do I do if like
if this is the end?
If like she did mask fish me, not that she could have because I saw her, but like what if something like that had happened? I probably would have just been like hit.
You're like, actually, I got COVID.
Yeah, I have COVID. Oh shit, let me put on my mask.
Okay, so to pose an interesting question,
baby, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think people think that you're more attractive when you have a mask on?
100% when I have a mask on.
Okay.
100% when I have a mask on. I have a picture that I took of myself in Snapchat where I'm looking down with like a mask. First of all,
do you think that your upper half of your face or your lower half of your face is the more like attractive half?
My upper half. Especially right now because I have no jawline. If you just jawline, zero. Non-existent.
If you just go like this.
If I just go like this.
Have you been told... Like,
give me that hat. Give me that hat.
Have Watch. This is my hat. Why is it in here?
Right? You see? For the viewers.
You're funny.
So I've been told I have symmetrical eyebrows and like nice eyebrows, like strong eyebrows. So I feel like this area, right, is like good. But then the second you get from here down, my jawline, I gotta lose LBs, man. That's gonna be my New Year's resolution because my jawline is like low, like it's gone, like it's not existent, right? Low. You even said that when I was editing the last episode. She goes, I was looking at mine. I was where your jawline be at?
I was like, no, I said both of us. Why do we just not? Is that? I think it might be a genetic thing that like we just don't have.
I had a jawline like 2.5, 3 years ago. No, holy shit, more than like 3.5 years ago. But
got a thick neck.
Yeah, I bet.
You just have to go like that. If someone's trying to strangle you, just take out the double chin and pretend.
They're like, like you just. It's not good.
I only asked that because.
God, I feel like I'm in fucking menopause, man. I'm getting hot flashes and cold flashes.
I feel like it really depends on the day. Like, I'll be like, oh my God, like so cute, my eyes and my eyebrows. But then people have also been like, again, at the same internship when we all saw each other without our masks. One of my coworkers was like, oh my God, you're beautiful. Like, I feel like you surprised me, but in a good way with the rest of your face. And I was like, oh, thanks. So I don't know if, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes that again goes to say like, you can imagine a face that's completely different.
Yeah. That is a good thing though. That means that they thought you were uglier than you are. That's what that means. If someone goes, oh my God, you're so beautiful. That means like, oh, like So you should have said like, so what
you thought I was ugly?
Yeah, like you would have been like, you should have been like, what did you think before? Like,
I feel like you could go very much more Asian features, maybe. Like, if you do that.
But see, what are more Asian features? That
I don't know.
Bigger
like,
lips?
Less of a nose bridge. Less of a nose bridge. More like a more rounder, maybe a little wider nose.
I don't think wider. I don't think you have a wide nose, but it depends.
More like round. Like, my nose is already pretty round, like pretty Asian.
No, more mushroomy is what you're saying.
Yeah, like here. Like the tip more like bulby.
Not as out, but more and
like
yeah.
Like round instead of so pointy. Even though it's not even that pointy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how to describe it more.
I think...
And then maybe like a...
Your lips would probably be bigger. Well, I don't know. That's interesting. Asians have pretty big lips.
It depends on the Asian, because I've met Asians with small lips and big lips, so I guess that's not really a thing. But I know Asians characteristically usually have like a more bulby nose.
Bulb... Okay, yeah, but I feel like also Asians do have big lips.
Okay.
Plump lips, like full lips. Like, okay, think about this.
There is lips.
I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying
but you just have huge lips.
Yeah,
we were saying this in the last video that you're posting tomorrow, like the previous podcast, because today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. The one that we filmed on Christmas Eve. When we talk, our bottom lips like move a lot, but then it looks like I don't have a top lip, and kind of you too, even though your lip ratio top to bottom is like.
We've gone over this.
Lip is like
this is what Paul said was my ugliest feature. He thinks my bottom lip is too big.
Oh, I think also like I have a pretty pointy chin.
You do have a fucking pointy ass chin.
It's like decently pointy. I think my face would have to be more round and less oval. Like it's pretty round, but like more like round.
That doesn't make any sense.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That doesn't make any sense. I think it's because I hate how round my head is, so I always strive to not have a round head. I feel like then we have opposite problems. You want this to be a little like.
No,
full.
I'm saying like I was saying again.
Oh my god, go ahead.
That maybe since our eyes look Asian, like you could tell that we're some kind of Asian mixed in us. That if you just saw us with a mask, you're probably imagining like more Asian features, and then when you take off a mask, they're like, oh. You're not fully Asian. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's nothing about you that's overtly not Asian. I think the way your face comes together overall, I think the most non-Asian thing about you is your nose. 100%.
I think it's my hair.
I'm saying your face.
Oh, on my face?
Yeah.
I think it's my eyebrows too.
Yeah,
because I have...
You have eyebrows.
I was like, I have pretty full eyebrows.
Yeah. If not,
and my eyelashes now.
Asians typically have like very thin here. Then it gets really wide here, and then it just disappears.
Yeah, it like gets like wispy on the tails.
Yeah. And then the older you get, for like Chinese men especially, that shit starts to just
grow.
fucking grow and then fan out, and like you got like caterpillars for. Oh my god.
I think also, isn't it like an Asian thing too for your cheekbones to be higher on your face?
I guess. I don't know.
There's something if you look up.
I don't know. Hannah would know better because I feel like artists,
if you look up like physiological ancestry and like races, like in Bones, in the TV show Bones.
Oh god.
Different ethnicities and ethnic groups and just like racial groups have different characteristics.
I know.
Just structurally,
I know white people, Caucasians
like
have a stronger brow bone.
Yeah. Like here.
Yeah. And Asians and black people don't.
Yeah, it's more shallow and not so deep, like the eye socket.
I don't know if this is incorrect, but I think it's because of the fact that Europeans have the highest percentage of Neanderthal DNA still like mixed in. And
yeah, there's something I remember reading something.
And Neanderthals
about it,
did have stronger brow bones and stuff like that. That's not an insult, by the way. I don't know why people think it's an insult. Neanderthals were just like, it's like, yeah. And another okay, if you ever get the chance to, not that I don't even know if you can take any more electives, but I took anthropology. That was a really interesting class. That's where I learned like this shit that I might be saying that's completely wrong, but that's where you got a
gist of stuff.
Yeah, humans and Neanderthals interbred, and then that's where you get like hybrids of the two. They were both like human subspecies, but then like modern day humans are Homo sapien sapien, right? And then like Neanderthals were another.
Yeah. But also, it's more like people really aren't different. Like, you know how there was this so my history and culture of sport class that I took that I'm going to LA for next semester. I loved that class because it was like tackled a lot of big issues that were actually so interesting to me. So a lot of people back in the day, like when they were more outwardly racist, if you can imagine that, like even more, they would be comparing like black athletes and white athletes and be like, oh, black athletes like have more of a natural physiological talent, saying like all this stuff, contributing
some
to
shit
it,
in like their feet or ankles or something.
It's not so different. You know what I'm saying? Like they're saying like, oh, like African American athletes specifically have some sort of advantage. But then when you really did the tests, it was like, you can't change the genes that you might have preset. Because you know how there's different genes for stuff and everything like that? And like the different muscle types?
I'm struggling to find the common point that you're trying to make here.
That we're really not all that different.
Well, yeah, that's known.
It's just that. Yeah. We're all, at the end of the day, we're all just human.
Back to the original topic with like dating shit. So do you think you're gonna when do you think you're gonna be ready / get your first boyfriend?
I don't think that being in a relationship is not necessarily something you're like, I'm ready, I'm gonna get into a relationship. I feel like it'll just kind of happen. Like for me personally.
Do you think, okay, I get that, but do you think there's gonna be any time soon where you're gonna bring home a boyfriend is the thing that I'm like.
Bring home?
Because that's the only thing that I'm like, oh my God, that hasn't happened yet. And when it does, that's going to be fucking interesting. That didn't seem like
it went so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I feel like it. I'm just going to say, I feel like you brought Hannah back to meet mom and dad so early.
I didn't.
I don't know if that wasn't it after like a month of knowing her?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, I was like, whoa, didn't you brought her? They met her basically before you guys were officially dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think. But
we took a while to be like officially dating, and it's like
that's
difficult.
What I'm saying. I feel like I wouldn't.
But it's it's difficult because the whole official non-official thing is difficult to like kind of navigate when you're living at home.
But for
that's the
me,
thing. That's like, how are they going to come over and spend time with you at your house when you live with your parents? It's like
that's weird. Yeah,
they wouldn't have met Hannah. Had it not, like, they would have met Hannah way later if I were to be living on my own, you know?
So for me...
But it's just, like, certain life factors.
I feel like we'll see what happens. This upcoming semester, I have a feeling it's going to be so sad, but if we end up not having in-person classes, that'll be tragic. Because then I won't have had a, quote, normal, end quote, like spring semester, because COVID and everything happened. My freshman year spring semester is when like everything went like complete lockdown, kind of hit the fan.
That is rough.
Isn't that crazy? And now I'm a junior going into my spring semester.
But this is the real bad thing too. It's like, yeah, you're a junior going into your spring semester, and what is the plan for your she turns 21 in May. Now, if we're in like lockdown again, like what the fuck's gonna happen with that? First of all, actually,
do you think we would actually go back fully into lockdown?
I think that maybe the government would try to do something like that, but I doubt that the general public is going to listen, because people are so fed up with this shit, and like tensions are like just increasing, and like people are not going to listen. There's
definitely less people. There's still definitely a lot of people going to the hospital with COVID, but I feel like it's
a lot,
less hectic than it was in the beginning. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm wrong. But I feel like because of people getting vaccinated,
I feel like it's as hectic. But the thing is that
we
media
know how to
coverage,
control it more.
It's as hectic. It's less hectic, but it's not like so.
It's not so under control that it's like not an issue.
Yeah, it's still an issue. But the fact is that like people have just gone accustomed. Like people have kind of grown thicker skin, and it's not new and a pressing issue. So the media coverage is not going to be like, oh, hospitals are overflowing and stuff like that.
Wait, so what were you going to say about my birthday?
So with your birthday celebration coming up in May, like you want to go bar hopping? Like, what do you want to do? Assuming everything's back to normal.
Like, I feel like I would want to. But if that just doesn't work out, Maybe at home, because my birthday falls on like right after the end of finals week. So maybe like I'll do something just at home, a bigger something at home, and then just like go with like a closer, smaller group of friends bar hopping.
When you go bar hopping, you're gonna have to get a hotel room in the city.
Why?
Well, because you can't, like, how are you gonna go in and out? You go bar hopping in New York, right? Especially in springtime when it's like warmer, so you don't have to like pack as much shit, all that stuff.
You've gone to the bars and then you've come back still, haven't you?
It's not fun because you get cut off at like 11. Like, you have to end the night pretty early.
Oh, shit.
Because of the fact that if you park and you have to wait to sober up, all that shit, like most parking garages, like...
Well, what if you just take like a train or something into the city?
That's annoying as fuck.
Or like a party
I'm telling
bus?
you, no. That's annoying as fuck. And that's really expensive. I would just get all your friends to pitch in. You get like
we all just go into...
You get like...
I would assume you were coming.
Or get an Airbnb. Yeah, I mean, I would go. But just get an Airbnb.
You and your friends, me and my friends.
Get an Airbnb.
Would be a small group.
Get like a really nice Airbnb that's big. Not like extremely expensive. You could find one that's like reasonable and like nice and roomy. And then like you go out, do your shit for the whole fucking... Like on a Saturday, right? You do your shit, go bar hopping, stay out till like 3 a.m.
I think my birthday lies on a...
Okay, whatever. But this is what
weekday.
I'm saying. So anyways, you celebrate it on a Friday or a Saturday. That night, you stay out till like 3, 4 a.m., come back, sleep, wake up the next day, everybody's ready to get out of the room whenever the checkout is. And then you go to like a brunch, lunch situation the next day.
Mimosas.
Well, I don't know, depending on how hungover you are. And then you go back up, you come back up here to home. So that way you don't have to like, that's the best way to do it.
We'll see what happens. What did you do for your 21st?
When I turned 21, I was... Fuck, where was I? I don't know.
Was I here? You turned 21...
2 years ago.
My freshman year. And I came home for your birthday.
Yes, it was just here. Yeah, that was just here.
Did you end up doing something?
No, that was just here.
What year did you end up, like, going to Philly or going upstate?
Oh, fuck.
Because I remember Mom did it the weekend before I came back for some reason, and then she...
I don't know.
With
That's
literally the whole family.
There's been too many celebrations at like
mad.
upstate and weekends and shit. So I don't know. I do not know. That's going to be interesting. You know what you're going to really like, though? Speakeasies. You're going to like speakeasies a lot.
That seems fun. Climbing through
Climbing through a what? Climbing through
a refrigerator. I said
Wait, what do you mean climbing through a refrigerator?
To like get into a bar or a speakeasy. Didn't you say you climbed through a refrigerator?
No, there's one where there's a phone. I took Mom and Dad to one in the East Village where there's a phone booth that you have to ring like a certain number, and then the phone tells you like, we'll be with you in a minute, and then someone opens the door.
We can find a speakeasy that you have to climb.
You don't climb through. You just walk through a fake vending machine. It's a fake vending machine.
So what a vending machine now too?
It's a fake vending machine that's like a Coke vending machine, and it's like you open it and it's
and
a
you
door
walk
there.
through. Yeah. See, I'm just imagining
but you
that.
say
that
climb.
cool.
You say climb as though like it's like one of those 2-section refrigerators, and you open the top one. You have to jump and then scurry through it.
I'm imagining
that's
you just
what you mean when you say climb.
And then you just kind of
no. That's not climbing. Climbing is like
okay.
Like, do you climb through the front door of the house? No, you don't. Like, I climbed to get into my house. Like that implies like you did some extra labor.
Correction. Go through.
Yeah, you go through a false door. I would love to have one of those in my future house. Door. That is a false door.
It's a door. It's just a hidden door.
Okay, hidden door. Sure, hidden door instead of false door. I would love to have a hidden door in my house.
Oh, I was about to say that. Me too. Where you like pull something and
like
then it goes.
Book?
Woo,
what
like
would you
lever.
have yours?
Maybe like a little bonsai tree. You twist it. Because in Daredevil, there's a scene.
What type of
where there's a literal bonsai tree and they have to twist it for the door to open.
That's really dumb.
Why?
Because what if you want to move the furniture in that room around? You can't move that. What is it, Bluetooth connected to the door and it opens that way? It would have to be a physical thing. That's why most of the things are in like a bookshelf that's mounted on the wall. That's something that's not moving.
It was mounted on the wall. The bonsai tree was...
How is a tree mounted to a wall?
It was a fake bonsai tree on a shelf, and then you just twist the pot part
That's so extra. Because then what if someone goes to try to like lift up that tree? They're like, the fuck is this tree is not coming off the shelf.
Why would they be lifting my tree?
To sweep or clean or something.
And then that's their problem.
That doesn't make. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, what would yours be? You're judging mine.
Mine would probably just be like a hidden button or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and somewhere where like you can't find it.
Maybe like a brick, like a part of the wall, or you have to knock, like do 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 do.
Okay,
that's Mario, isn't it?
That's so elaborate.
No,
I would have mine in my office.
It's like a brick.
Yeah, I would have mine in my office, cool. And I think I know what mine would be. Mine would be a fucking like wall mounted, like, so it's like
on above. This wall right now. What would you choose?
So if it was above, right, and there was like this would never be this, because you'd have to have so much like elaborate shit going on in your office for like decor that this would like fit in. But like a sword, and then it's like a sheath, and you have to like
the sheath off.
You have to take the sword out, flip it, and like turn it over, then put it back in,
like a
and then
key
that
situation.
Yeah,
that is very elaborate.
That's super elaborate.
Okay,
that doesn't make a lot of sense. But
right now you can't see it, but like whatever is on your wall, what would you make?
If I could.
Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe one of the cars up there.
No, I would have that little football helmet where you lift up the plastic thing, flip the football helmet, and then that.
Oh, you like flipping things. I would just want something you could like lift. Like you like tilt it or some shit, or like twist it.
How the fuck are you gonna do that with the car?
Maybe like a door. You open
the door.
Or you like
you honk the horn in the car and the fucking door appears.
Push down the front and just go.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. That'll do me a favor. Take some B-roll of the wall, the setup, and then I'll put this in and post over the thing.
Have you ever thought about what kind of decor or like style house you would want?
Yeah. No. Okay. I would want every room in my house. We're saying money's no object.
Yeah, we're just gonna say like something realistic, but still what you want.
Realistic. Achievable, and what I would want, I would want if I had several rooms in my house, like not like even bedrooms actually, but like spare rooms, like an office, blah blah blah, this that, whatever. I would want each room to have their own style theme. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Kind of like Shay Mitchell. If you've ever seen her house, she has like different like wallpaper.
I know who Shay Mitchell is, but I don't. Yeah, I would want one to be cool like Bohemian. I think is the style. I'd want like one to be a Bohemian, one to be like European. I don't want to be like Japanese. That'd be fucking sick. That'd be so sick. Speaking of Japanese shit, sorry, excuse me. In New York City, do you know this? There's this YouTuber. I can't remember his name right now. I think it's like Eric Conover. I don't know. I'm probably. I think it's Eric something. But he's like he tours luxury apartments and properties in the U.S. and posts like videos about them. And he did one on this New York City high-rise apartment that was fucking like $100 million. I think it was $100 million.
In Jesus, where? Jesus Christ.
In New York City. You know that it's a perfect rectangle. I don't know where it is, but it's like the tallest residential building in New York, and it's a perfect rectangle.
$100 million?
And
how many rooms was it?
It's the entire top floor.
Okay,
like the whole top floor. And it's a luxury building. I don't know if anyone owns it, but
if you own
the inside of it, there's a private elevator that goes up to the top, and then when you get to the top, there's like, it's made by a Japanese designer, right? So when you get to the top, there's like a fucking projector that projects like fancy shit, and then in like a corner tucked away, it's the designer's signature. And then that's before you even get into the actual apartment. That's just the elevator to go up there. Then you actually get in. There's like 1,000-year-old Japanese wood as the floor, which one slab costs like an insane amount of money. And then get this. This is the part that's like so extra I can't wrap my head around it. There is bonsai trees each live that were imported from Japan that are each over like 150 years old or something, and each one goes for like $6,000 to $10,000 each fucking tree.
I want one.
And that one of those,
I want a bonsai tree.
You got $6,000 to $10,000 to shell out like that. You better fucking get working on that degree. What type of doctor makes the most money?
Anesthesiologist.
Go for that.
Well, like
just go for that.
Not anesthesiologist. Is it anesthesiologist? I think anesthesiologist makes one of the most
I don't know
having the most flexible schedule.
Okay, so do that. But either way,
if you
that
own
shit's gonna
that
cost
penthouse,
you $1.
hit my line.
That shit's gonna cost you a fat buck.
I am single.
So, but then that's not even the craziest part. That's like one of the craziest parts. But the craziest thing for me,
how much did the architect make you think?
A lot.
Jesus.
It's a luxury high-rise apartment with like the best views of New York City and
they
floor to
design
ceiling
that
windows.
and.
They designed the entire
the rent
interior.
is how much, or the price just to buy?
No,
it?
you can't rent it. That's the crazy thing.
Okay, so the price to buy is $100 million.
No, it is $100 million. In the title of the video, it's $100 million. Like 100.
Okay.
000.
And how much of that do you think goes to the architect?
Well, the architect just got probably paid a flat fee.
Really?
Yeah, I would assume when the construction of the building goes. I wouldn't imagine. No, I would imagine the person that made the building paid the one-off to the designer to do that just special apartment, and then like. You get here's like he probably made like $2 million, I would assume, for design, because it's like
for designing a whole building.
No, just that apartment, because this is the thing. I think it's like him resourcing, planning, and like putting together all these exotic materials and luxury goods. That is the thing. Like the fact that he has those connections,
like an interior designer more.
It's not an interior. He's an architect / interior designer that puts all this shit together. And
that's kind of cool.
But you didn't even let me tell you the craziest thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Like the wood is crazy, but this is the fucking the spackle. What the fuck? Like drywall. The drywall. There's like a layer. The paint on the drywall. Mm-hmm. It's like infused with something that's antibacterial. The wall.
So in COVID times.
The paint on the fucking wall, like literally, like this probably like bare paint or what's like some
I don't know.
normal fucking from Home Depot low shit paint, right? The paint that they used are like the spackling. Again, I don't know what it is, but the layer of the wall that is facing it produces oxygen.
What the? Okay, so
because it's infused with some living organism, right? It absorbs carbon dioxide and produce like
what they have on spaceships,
basically. But the crazy thing is
that's just like a charcoal.
I don't know if I don't think it produces oxygen, but I know
dramatic.
But I know it absorbs CO2, and I know it also.
And then what does it turn it into?
And I also know it's antibacterial. The wall, it's like an antimicrobial or something. It's like the fucking craziest shit.
I need to watch this video.
It's like an eggshell white or something. Like it's like beige or white something.
So do you like not specifically Japanese, but more Asian inspired architecture?
I think Asian inspired architecture is really good for like serene,
it's very
calming,
simple,
peace and
yet beautiful.
Yeah. I like simple. I like simplistic, modern.
Me too.
That's why I feel like I can't get. That's why I feel like my perfect home is gonna have theme shit, because I can't get my head around like everything in the house is this one thing. Mm-hmm. I would want like an overall theme for the majority of the house to be like modern, whatever. I don't know, like
Spanish style homes. I also really like
the outside.
Yeah.
You mean like the Spanish tile? I love the Spanish tile.
I love that. But
I would never get that in like the Northeast. Like if I'm living around
I feel like if I was living in California, that makes the most sense.
Yeah. Well, no, not even California. Florida. Florida would make the most sense.
What else?
Cali's like modern. I feel like Cali's like you have to have like a modern house with like big slabs.
I would want a house
like
that definitely has a lot of light coming in, natural light.
Yeah. Because
dark spaces, I just don't. I just really love light.
I want an open.
You can't handle that in your bedroom or whatever because you are so light
that's what I was gonna say.
And dramatic
like
about
when
I
my
love
room,
a good natural light.
I need in my room. I need complete total darkness when I sleep.
Like I would almost want just a glass wall.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
That'd be great. Have you seen Alicia Keys' home?
No.
That people are like, I read an article that said that people say that it's ugly as fuck.
That's kind of rude.
If you look it up, because it's just, anyway. Yeah.
That's fucked up. Why are they judging someone else's house?
I don't know, but rich people, they get this idea in their head and then they do it, and then sometimes it just does not look good.
What is it?
I don't know, but there's definitely a lot of concrete and glass and just, I don't know if it was the best design.
Did you see it?
I think it's made of a lot of glass.
What are we gonna eat for
dinner?
But it's
very contradictory. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But it's made of a lot of glass walls and stuff. But yet they said they want a lot of privacy. But when you're on a hilltop with glass walls in California where it's like light, how is that privacy?
I don't know. If money were no object and I had a fucking house to design on my own, I think I would have to.
That would be stressful because of the amount of conflict I would have in my mind trying to decide. But yet the best, you know?
No, so there is obviously, if you do that, I would imagine I would be with my partner, and like she's obviously gonna get to have a large input, if not the majority of the input.
How big of a house would you want?
No. Right now we're not talking about like realistic, because I don't know. Like I don't know how much money I'm gonna be making in like.
No,
you know,
but
whatever,
do you think you like
bigger houses?
Bigger houses.
I like comfortable houses, not like
so
ridiculous.
Big that it's not.
But I don't.
Homey.
I definitely want like a good sized house, like a pretty like.
I definitely want a space that's very like inviting and homey, but big. Simple and beautiful.
I want
and like still spacious.
Okay, either way, what I'm trying to say is that if I were to design the whole thing, right, the only thing that I would say I need this is I would have an office, and then the office is with a secret entrance. And again, we're saying money's no object. The office has the secret entrance to like a like entertainment man cave room.
Well, I said dungeon, but I meant man cave.
Yeah. Like an entertainment man cave room. I would need to have that. And in that room, it would just be like the nerdiest shit of all time.
Would you collect stuff?
You know, I had this really exotic idea when I was a kid that I would just, for some reason, have like a piece of solid gold and then like jewels in like a display case.
Like a pirate?
Yeah, or like some medieval shit. Like there's a trophy room with like a sapphire, ruby, gold, like just... And it's not even like a ring or something. It's like just straight up the material.
I think... I don't know why, but I feel like I could definitely imagine you having a lot of collectors.
Well, because of this.
Like that video that Kyling sent on Instagram of that guy's man cave with all of the Star Wars stuff.
No, that's crazy.
That shit was crazy, but I feel like you could do some sort of thing like that.
This guy had an entryway to go into a personal movie theater, and in the entryway, like it's like a long hallway with like a couple bends, there was every single fucking like torso, like bust, like a bust. So many things of every like stormtrooper, like fucking like armor set, Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, like Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, all of that leading up into the movie theater, which is the crazy, and it's all well lit. It's fucking crazy.
See, something like that seems really cool, like just having a very rare objects.
Was that wind?
It is really windy outside.
The fucking windows Those windows are so fucking annoying. Those windows that open like have a hinge and open like this. I'm like, you'd have to see this on the video version. No one listens to it anyways. My Spotify streams have gone down, and it's all YouTube views.
It opens from like 180 to like 90.
It's hinged on one vertical side of the window frame.
It opens vertically.
It opens like a book. It opens like a book.
Yeah.
So when that happens, if the fucking wind catches it from one side, the whole thing is like, yeah, it's kind of anxiety inducing. All right. Anyways, what were you saying?
What was I saying?
Fuck.
You see, this is what happens.
We were talking about like you could see me having that collector shit.
Oh, that I think it'd be the concept of just collecting things that are very rare and unique to you, like, not really anyone else in the world has something like it. That just is such a cool concept to me.
Like, you want to do that too, or you see me doing that?
I feel like I could see you doing that, but I also would want to do that, but I don't know if it would necessarily be like collectibles like memorabilia from movies, but maybe just like artwork is very, very, very expensive. But I feel like I want to do that with artwork.
Listen, artwork you have to do because there's tax write-offs and loopholes that you can do if you have artwork.
I feel like I'd want to do that with like artwork or maybe jewelry.
This is why you do it with artwork. Or, you get a piece. This is true. I might. The overall theme is true. I might get certain details wrong, but I know that this, like, rich people, right? When you have a fuck ton of money, what you do to avoid paying less taxes. And this is legal.
To avoid paying more taxes?
To avoid paying more taxes. So what you do to pay less taxes is you buy a very expensive piece of art, right? Have it in your personal collection. And then that is like an asset that then you can donate. One of the ways you could get... There's like multiple loopholes, but one of the ways is you could then donate that piece of art to like a charity. And then that charitable action, when you sell it or donate it, the value of it at the time, you could get it like appraised. That is the amount that you could get written off of taxes. and like sometimes art appreciates in value. So if you get like an old piece,
interesting,
like you get an old piece or you get a piece
so
that's
you don't
like
get to
you
keep
pay a
it?
certain amount. Well, no, but like you pay like X amount of dollars and then over time it goes up in value. You then donate it, that amount of value that you paid. It's like you get that discounted from your taxes. I think some shit like that. But
rich people are the best at figuring out ways to spend less money.
no, that's like there's books that I want to read that. It's like there's books out there that's like like that teach you financial literacy and they increase your financial like knowledge in terms of the way to manage your finances when you actually start making a good amount of money so that you actually keep like another one that's crazy is if you know a lot of rich have you ever noticed like a lot of rich people own fucking trucks like Ford F-150s like big fucking trucks. It's because if you own those trucks and then use them as work vehicles, there's a tax write-off up to $1.5 million because those trucks go over a certain weight limit and it's like considered commercial vehicles or something. So if you use those for work, they give you a tax, like depending on whatever, there are certain things you could get a tax cut of up to $1.5 million, some shit like that.
Would you want to commission an artwork? Do you think you could find an artist that you just
what does that mean?
Feel like agrees with
commission an artwork? Like you pay an artist to paint some shit?
Yeah.
Or make some
shit
like
for make you? A specific piece for you.
Yeah, I would do that. If
you find the right artist.
Yeah. And if it's enough, like how much do I have to pay?
I don't know. I think it depends on the size of the work you want. Like
I think mostly it's the artist. I think mostly it's the artist. Because you could get a fucking no-name artist to do a big piece of work, and then the same size piece of work for a really famous artist it's like 50.
Yeah, it's crazy.
100 times more expensive. That's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What the fuck did we talk about today?
A lot of different topics. But you know what else? I want to get like a real jade ring.
You know this shit that we have on is not real jade. That's dyed quartz. This is dyed quartz.
It's the thought that counts.
And we've been no, I know, but like I just feel bad because she definitely got ripped off in Chinatown.
I don't even want to talk about that.
There's like some fake shit that she's bought, yo. Like instead of like a Michael Kors, it's like a Michelle Kors. It's bad. It's a Michelle Kors light. Like it's bad. But my poor grandma, she goes into Chinatown.
She loves to try to buy like nice things, fancy things,
and she swears they're real, but like
but
no,
people
you got
really
duped.
take advantage. They know how to work it. That feels
the
so
salesmanship
bad.
is great.
I feel so bad.
I've run out of tea. My throat is starting to get raspy. Today was a shorter episode.
I ran out of my liquids too.
Yeah. Today was a shorter episode, but it was always great having you on. We'll record probably 2 more before you go back to school. And
next week.
Is it next week?
Yeah, I go back to school a week from today.
The next one that we're gonna do is probably gonna be with Dad, which is gonna be so awkward taping that. It's gonna have to be like probably me in the center, you and Dad on either one of my sides, which is like such a tight space.
That's a hassle.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please be sure to, if you're listening on Spotify, to fill out the poll.
2022.
Swipe up on the streaming, on the podcast, and then fill out the poll. If you have any interesting topics that you want us to talk about, because no one's done that really. And
questionnaire.
and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment if you have any thoughts, give me some feedback, and please subscribe. And hit the little bell for notifications. I feel like a whole content creator now. But yeah, do you want to plug your Instagram?
It's just Catalina and then another A and then Chung. That's it.
There we go. All right.
There it is.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time. Oh, wait, hold on. Cue the outro music. Until next time, peace.